What if Hitler's nuclear program came far closer to producing a weapon than history has led us to believe? Soviet intelligence documents and later scientific investigations point toward a secret Nazi device, one designed not like the American atomic bomb, but as something smaller, stranger, and potentially just as deadly.
In August 1945, the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan. The destructive power deployed at Hiroshima and Nagasaki was terrifying, but the massive, feverish effort to build those weapons was driven by a single overriding fear, that Hitler's Germany would build them first. By late 1944, however, Allied special units gave the all-clear. Searching through captured German armament facilities, American intelligence concluded that the Nazi atom bomb was a myth. The Germans, they reported, had fallen hopelessly behind. The accepted face of this scientific dead end is Nobel laureate Werner Heisenberg. In southern Germany, Heisenberg and his team attempted to build a nuclear reactor using cubes of uranium suspended in heavy water. The experiment failed to achieve a self-sustaining reaction. For decades, the history books have firmly stated that the Third Reich lacked both the raw materials and the unified scientific coordination to ever construct a working nuclear weapon. But recently discovered documents in the Russian president's archives tell a distinctly different story. Highly classified Soviet GRU intelligence reports, dated March 1945, describe a program that was anything but a failure. In an October 1945 report to Joseph Stalin, Marshal Zhukov stated plainly that German scientists had achieved practical results in atomic energy. His conclusion was direct. The Germans had successfully constructed an atomic weapon.
A report from Marshal Zhukov to Stalin, dated October 2, 1945. The subject is the German atomic weapons program. New sources of the report have been confirmed. But I think the most interesting aspect is Zhukov's statement that the Germans had already built the atomic bomb.
The intelligence detailed 2 trial explosions in the region of Thuringia. According to the reports, the blasts flattened trees within a 600-meter radius and left behind a strong radioactive footprint. Prisoners of war placed at the center of these tests were completely vaporized. While Heisenberg's teams struggled with a primitive reactor in the south, these high-yield tests were taking place hundreds of miles away in Thuringia, conducted by a research group that didn't appear on any official military chart. Hans Kammler, a high-ranking SS engineer, operated a weapons program shielded from standard military oversight.
Kammler possessed a high degree of managerial talent. He was prepared to take great risks and would stop at nothing to achieve his goals.
He answered directly to the top of the Nazi hierarchy, commanding a parallel infrastructure that the Allies were only beginning to map. To protect his projects from Allied air raids, Kammler moved entire armament factories deep underground. He achieved this through the brutal exploitation of tens of thousands of concentration camp prisoners and forced laborers, sacrificing countless lives to carve out facilities. The immense scale of this operation is evident at the Bergkristall complex in St. Georgen and Gusen, Austria. While officially an assembly site for jet aircraft, geological measurements and construction records suggest a massive multi-level structure with anywhere from 16 to 40 kilometers of tunnels. Modern investigations at this specific facility have uncovered highly anomalous technology. Experts identified an octagonal structure containing components for a particle accelerator, alongside massive electrical connections capable of handling up to 6 million volt amperes. These massive power requirements align with the details found in the Soviet intelligence reports. Kammler's SS Shadow machine possessed the exact isolated infrastructure necessary to conduct parallel, off-the-books nuclear research. The scientists working under the SS weren't attempting to replicate the American approach to nuclear fission. They pursued alternative physics designed for rapid deployment. A group led by German explosives expert Erich Schumann focused on a completely different mechanical principle. This illustrates Schumann's hollow charge concept. Precisely shaped conventional explosives direct immense energy inward, focusing pressure on a tiny central point. This hyper-pressurized focal point could generate enough heat to trigger secondary nuclear fusion, requiring far less enriched uranium than American bombs. Kammler's goal was to attach these alternative nuclear payloads to the weapons system he already controlled, the V-2 rockets raining down on London and Paris. With plans already underway to combine rocket stages to reach the United States, Kammler's vision was clear. He was attempting to build the world's first intercontinental ballistic missiles, armed with nuclear warheads. According to official accounts, Hans Kammler committed suicide in Bohemia as the Third Reich collapsed in May 1945. His body, however, was never recovered. Contradictory intelligence from the U.S. Counterintelligence Corps indicates Kammler was actually arrested by American troops. Accounts from the son of a high-ranking OSS officer suggest Kammler negotiated his surrender, intentionally faking his death to turn his expertise over to the United States. In exchange for his life, Kammler allegedly offered unparalleled intelligence on his shadow program. Shortly after his supposed death, a German submarine bound for Japan surrendered to American forces, carrying 560 kilograms of uranium oxide, material reportedly later used in the U.S. atomic program. Both the United States and the Soviet Union quietly absorbed German scientists and their technology. To maintain secrecy during the emerging Cold War, the origins of these weapons programs and their ties to SS slave labor were heavily suppressed. The legacy of SS alternative physics survived the war. By the early 1950s, the U.S. military developed tactical atomic artillery for the battlefield, weapons that utilized the exact hollow charge principles explored by German scientists. Today, despite declassified intelligence pointing to these projects, locations like a former SS shooting range near St. Georgen remain largely unexamined. Recent ground-penetrating radar scans at these sites had detected subterranean concrete structures beneath the soil, while researchers continue to record abnormally high levels of radiation in the surrounding area. Yet, when physical excavations briefly exposed reinforced concrete steps leading underground, local authorities permanently halted the dig. The areas have been placed under strict historic preservation orders, physically sealing the sites from further investigation. The proximity of a Nazi atomic bomb remains a mystery, even as the physical evidence sits under a layer of reinforced concrete. For now, the excavations are stopped, the files are closed, and the true extent of the SS Shadow program remains underground.
For decades, the Western understanding of Nazi Germany's atomic program was based largely on the evidence gathered by the Allies at the end of the war. That evidence seemed to settle the matter. But now, newly released Soviet files have brought additional evidence to light. Evidence that raises new questions about what the Nazis may actually have achieved. Was Hitler's atomic bomb truly nothing more than a wartime myth? Or is there still more to this story waiting to be uncovered? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd be very interested to hear your conclusion. I'm Tim Gable for Echoes of War. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.